T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fubar Studios. I'm your host, Doug, and today we've got a special guest with us today. Just to the left of me, we have the call sign Drift DF, which is the Drift Force 1, Artie, and I'm going to let him introduce himself, provide his whole background. He is, because he is a Air Force veteran of 20 plus years, as well as he's into drifting and stuff. So I will let him take it away from here.
All right, thanks, Doug. Thank you for having me on. My name's Britton. I'm a Master Sergeant in the Air Force. I've been in 20 plus years. Also, I am the pilot of Drift Force 1. It's a 98 C5 Corvette that I have set up for drifting, and as you can see in the background, I have the American livery on it. So starting with my military side, when my family, one side of my family is all military, one side of my family are all mechanics. So when I was in high school, I knew I wanted to join the military. My grandfather always, spoke highly of the military. He served in World War II, and I knew that I wanted to serve my country, and he always held the military to high regards. So I wanted to do my part and serve my country. And so I joined when I was 17, and starting off in Dover, Delaware. I was there active duty for about 4 or 5 years, and then left there, decided to move to Massachusetts, back where I grew up, and there was a base up there. I started working on C5 Galaxies, and it was just an amazing jet to work on, how massive they are, and they had those same jets in Massachusetts, so I ended up getting a, they call it Air Reserve Technician. So you serve in the Air Force Reserve, as well as you work as a DoD civilian during the week. And doing the same job, turning wrenches on the C5 Galaxy. So I did that for probably 11 or 12 years, and then I ended up getting an opportunity to work in quality assurance. I have a crazy attention to detail and thoroughness, and it made me a perfect fit for a short tour in quality assurance. So I did 3 years as AGR, which is an active guard reserve.
Yeah.
So it was basically an active duty reservist, and I did that for about 3 years. I made Master Sergeant, and then at that point, I was kind of, the tour was coming to an end, and I needed to make a decision whether I would go back to turning wrenches as a civilian, or try to find another opportunity. I don't like to stay in one job too long. I like to broaden and see what the Air Force has to offer. So I ended up finding a active guard position at another base, working on F-15s, which you can see one of them behind me. That opportunity was just, it was the best of both worlds, because I was able to keep my master stripe and go back to doing what I love, which is repairing and troubleshooting aircraft. And huge culture shock, though, from going from the mobility command and working on cargo jets to working a totally different mission in the fighter world. But I've been, slowly getting used to it, and trying to keep up with the fast-paced life of the fighter world. And I'm working with a great group of people in my current shop. My career field is electrical environmental systems, which when I joined, it was one of my weak points was electrical work. So not common, but I had a really good recruiter, and he basically knew that I was automotive savvy. So he just asked me, hey, what don't you understand? Or like, what would you like to learn more about? And electrical was always my weak point. So he's like, here's the perfect job for you. They will teach you everything you need to know. And I've been doing that for 20 years now, and I love the job. Unfortunately, in the next couple of years, we are converting from the F-15s to the F-35s. So I am actually going to be converting to avionics. So that's going to be a whole nother culture shock on top of the fast pace, also having to learn a whole new career field. But I love the opportunities that the Air Force has given me, and now that I've been active duty, I've been in the reserves, I've been a technician, I've been in the guard, and done AGR. I've seen pretty much everything that the Air Force has had to offer, and I'm really happy with how it's been going. So that's more or less the military side of me.
With all that, I got a question is, can you share some of your most significant changes you've had to face, during your time in the military, as well, getting into what you're doing now as like your hobby, as it's called drifting, as a lot of people may know and have watched the movies of Tokyo Drift, Fast and the Furious, and all that stuff. It's like they look at it and say, "Oh, this is that whole DK Drift King," and that kind of stuff.
Yep. It actually, when I was active duty, was when I found out about it. Back where I grew up, my dad was always into muscle cars and stuff, and he was always, I'd be riding in the passenger seat, and he would always be, he'd do a burnout or rev the motor, or do a donut or something on some back corner of a parking lot, and it was always super exhilarating. And so I always grew up around the fast cars and stuff like that, and always loved it. And so when I was once I got my license and all that stuff, I actually drove an S10 that I wanted to be able to do burnouts and stuff with it, so I had the rear diff welded. And when I was active duty, I found a group of car people down there, the younger crowd, and getting there's some abandoned warehouses and stuff like that. So we kind of were hanging out there, and I did a little donut around a light pole, and they're like, "I've never seen a pickup truck drift."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Drifting? What is that?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, it's you take a rear-wheel drive vehicle and you power slide it around." And a couple of people that I met, one of the guys was he's a son of an Air Force maintainer who was stationed in Japan. So he, as a kid, was hanging out with local kids, and they, told him about drifting and everything. So he knew all about that. And then he told me, he's like, "Yeah, watch these videos and everything." And from there, I was like, "This is amazing. This is right up my alley." Just you being one with the machine and being able to manipulate the car in ways that it shouldn't do, but being in full control with the car past the limits was just the most amazing thing. And once I left active duty and moved back to Massachusetts, the first thing I did was started looking for events, and I ended up finding some events in Western Mass and Lebanon Valley in upstate New York. And it was basically just a parking lot at the drag strip that they set up some cones and stuff, and just you pay the fee, and you get to go and play around with the car and work on car control. And from that moment on, I was like, I'm always going to be in it. This is my I just have a connection with the machines that allows me to I feel the machines and know what it's going to do. And it's just it's been one of those things, and it eventually evolved into my therapy when I started having the stresses of being in the military and work, and I started flying on the C5s, so I was gone for a week or two at a time, every couple of weeks to months, and I just started identifying some of my own issues that I was dealing with, whether it be mentally or physically, and drifting was my therapy to be able to kind of escape for a little bit and kind of get that adrenaline kick that at the end of it I end up being a lot more relaxed and everything. So it was very, very therapeutic to me, and that's where I've stuck with it, and I've invested a lot of my time and effort into it, because it is my therapy. And at events, I highly encourage people to jump in the passenger seat. That's the beauty of drifting, is it's such a great community, and it's still fairly new, even though it's been around for in America for 20 years. It's still in its infancy, and it's an amazing grassroots event. You can hang out with the drivers, you can walk right up to the cars, and you just be like, hey, do you mind if I jump in? And most people are very accommodating and yeah, no problem. I can't even count the number of people that I was the first person they ever rode with, drifting, and they ended up going out and getting their own cars because it was just such an amazing thing to them. And it then put them on a path to, hey, I really want to do this. This is a crazy passion. So I'm going to go to school. I'm going to learn a trade. I'm going to set myself up, so that I can be financially stable and stable in life to be able to pursue this hobby and stay in it. And I can't even think of how many people I've seen just go all in right from the beginning because they're so into it. And then they end up just burning themselves out because they just spend so much money right off the rip. And I always encourage people, if they enjoy this and they want to get into it, it goes for pretty much any hobby. Make sure that your situation, you don't want to burn yourself out and do too much too soon, and then you're not able to continue on with the passion. And that's kind of what I've been doing. The military is my opportunity to be able to progress and get more and more opportunities to continue and as long as I can in the military and be able to continue my passion. So it's just kind of one feeds the other.
Oh, absolutely. And that goes into, my next question with you is, how has your military experience influenced your approach to leadership and to teamwork in both your military career as well as your, professional career as doing, the drifting on the side?
So being in the military since I was 17, it's basically, I eat, sleep, breathe, it's military. That's just kind of, being so young and influential, learning everything from the beginning. I've had opportunities to lead groups of people, and I've had some amazing supervisors that knew what my strong points were and be able to utilize those and utilize me in a capacity that they knew that I would be able to succeed. And learning more and more, going through the professional development courses in the Air Force and going through the ranks as an NCO and gradually having more and more responsibility, all of that has then shifted over into my hobby, where I kind of run my program, on like the military side. So I have my team where it's me and another coworker at my base. We set it up that, hey, this time you're gonna take the lead. Like when we're driving together, it's the same thing, where you have one person lead and the other person follow, and you're essentially having to make these split-second decisions as they're happening to follow what the lead is doing, and just having being able to read, even in like a supervisor capacity in the military, like being able to read your subordinates and read supervisors and stuff like that, and understanding how they work, and then being able to react when they ask you to do stuff, or when they have you assigned a certain task. So there is a decent amount of crossover, and as far as most of the time, I am, with my car and everything, I do a lot of events on my own. And I'm slowly getting to the point, I want to make sure that I have my program set up properly for myself before I start bringing in somebody else, just to make sure that I have everything kind of established, and kind of have procedures in place. So then I'm very methodical, everything is very well thought out, and I want to kind of have all that set up, so then once I start bringing other people on the team, I have something established that we can move forward with, and then gradually change depending on the needs of the team, and it's right now I'm still kind of starting from the bottom, because I'm still fairly new at my new base. So I'm just concentrating on learning the aircraft, learning the base, learning the people, and understanding what everyone's strengths and weaknesses are. Because as a senior NCO, it's I'm to the point where I'm now serving the people that I work with. Like at my level, it's not about me anymore, it's about them, and making sure that they have what they need, and and whether it be materials or kind of motivating them to progress in their career. So that's kind of over into the drifting world. It's kind of the same thing. I've been in the drifting world for so long, I know what works, I've seen what has not worked, and I use that same mentality to try to instill the mindset into the newer generation of drifting, to hope that it progresses, and hope that it stays around. And the next generation of drivers are unbelievable. Like we had to learn from scratch. Like we didn't have any manuals, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have any of that, so we just learned by doing it. Now there's just so many people that have been doing it a while. The younger generation can just go on YouTube and they can learn. And then the sim driving, that's another thing that I started doing that is a little tricky for me, because I learned by feel. And when you take that feeling away, it makes it really tough to try to learn how the car is reacting in the game. But as far as muscle memory and just keeping my wits and keeping the reaction times, in the off season, That's what I spend a lot of time doing. The younger generation starts with the sim driving because it's cheap, relatively cheap and low risk. They get all the muscle memory, and I've seen it. Guys that have only done sim driving, they jump into a real car. Within 6 months, they're out driving half the people that have been driving a while. So it's trying to mentor the newer generation to, yes, you want to progress it, but also kind of keep that same spirit of what drifting was initially about. And it's about the community and the friendship and everyone having the same passion and doing it for fun. It's, I tried the competition stuff. I did a few competition series, and there's always going to be somebody with a bigger, better car. There's always going to be somebody with more money and more funding. So I started not enjoying it as much. So I'm going to just go back to doing the fun events and doing more promotional stuff and just kind of keep it fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to is just having fun. Because again, it's just it helps with your mental aspect of your life, to where it allows you to experience the how do you really say it? It's just that excitement,
adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
It's the more like I go to therapy and like try to I'm very analytical. I like to break everything down. I like to understand how everything works, and I'm starting to do that with myself to understand how my thought processes work. And one of the things that we had talked about was how when you have very, very hyperactive, kind of scatterbrain, my thoughts are everywhere.
Yeah.
As soon as I get behind that wheel and, they tell me to go, everything else, goes away. And if anybody's seen the first, Fast and the Furious, Dom has a statement that it's kind of corny, but it's true. And he says, for that 10 seconds or less, I'm free. Nothing else matters. And it's true. Like once I go and once I drop the clutch and start driving, everything else is, all that matters is what I'm doing in that moment. And I can hyper focus on that. And it's that, not worrying about anything else, being able to focus entirely on one thing.
Yeah.
Having a real heightened adrenaline. And then by the end of the day, you go through the cycles of adrenaline and then relaxation, adrenaline and relaxation. By the end of the day, the next day when I'm at work, I'm just so happy and relaxed, and nothing bothers me, and that's how it ends up being therapeutic to me. And I know there's a lot of other people that also use it as therapy, and that's kind of why I've been having some of the ideas that I've had, is if I can give other people the same experience and they can ride in my car with me and I can give them that same experience, that could be something that they can kind of forget about what problems they're dealing with for a few minutes, and that might be the small thing that just helps them through that day, and maybe that week, just thinking about that event and that opportunity.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely, because that's basically what a lot of us veterans, we need, is just that little bit of rush that comes from either the drifting, or it could be working on like being in the pits with my nonprofit, where we bring veterans into the pits with the race teams. They get that kind of feeling, and they get that rush from that. It may not just be for that day or for that couple days. It may be for the week. It may even change the way that they are feeling, long-term wise. They may seem like it's a purpose, for them to keep going and moving on with life. I know we have talked, you and I, regarding having you come down potentially at one of the races, or a few of the races, depending on what we can do to work that out. And so I definitely want to let the viewers know, as you see this, please feel free to reach out to us at Fubar Studios if you want to participate in this. Because again, you do some of the drifting over here in my neck of the woods, which is towards Thompson, Connecticut, at the Thompson Speedway. You also are up at near another racetrack that we go to, which is in Monadnock, New Hampshire, which is the Monadnock Speedway. So these are going to be some opportunities that the veterans will be able to partake into, the track day for veterans, but also be able to partake in looking at sitting in the drift car that you have set up, as well as I know you were saying that you have like a simulator set up. So
that was another thing that I was, I'm gonna set it up so that it's mobile, so then I actually have my car in Assetto Corsa, which is like the main game that everyone uses. So I'll be able to set up my car in the game, and people will be able to use the simulator and drive my car, in the game, and see if they can figure out how to drift it in the game.
Yeah, and that's going to be something that is going to give them the rush to feeling that, as well as sitting in the car, maybe being a passenger as you go around the track in the actual drift car, depending on where we can get that taking place at. So a lot of these things.
Definitely, if my car is very recognizable. If you go to any drift event, I try to spread myself all around New England. I go down to New Jersey as well. If anybody out there sees me at an event, sees this car, don't hesitate to come up to me, and if you have a helmet, long pants, and closed-toed shoes, that's really the only requirements, and I'll throw you in the passenger seat and take you out for a ride. I love doing it. I've had people almost in their 70s jump in and just have a ball, because it's a roller coaster that is a car but driven like a roller coaster. The G-forces are awesome, and I've given so many people rides that it's they've never done anything like it, or even gone super fast in a car, and it kind of ruins it for the rest of the time, because once you ride in a drift car at full tilt, there's really not many other motorsports that are going to give you that same feeling. So it kind of it kind of ruins it for just normal like track driving.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of drifting at the grassroots level, is you get that opportunity. You can just jump in the car with whoever.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we've talked before, and you mentioned that you have your own podcast that you do, which please tell our viewers, where they can find you and what it's up under and everything, because I want to be able to put that out there for the viewers to be able to follow you, like and subscribe, and be able to listen to your podcast.
Yep. Yeah, and basically all social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, it's Drift Force 1. So if you type in Drift Force 1 into Google or YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, you'll find me. And then my podcast is the Drift Force 1 podcast, and it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, it's on all of or Apple Music, it's on all of the major platforms that you can find podcasts on. Basically, it's just me and my friends. I've been talking to a lot of my friends that I've known for a while, just to, kind of get their stories out there, and it's circled around drifting. And the first couple episodes are explaining it and, kind of explaining us and our story. And it's just kind of something I really wanted to do, just we talk at the track so much with so many people, and they have so many great stories, and I just wanted to give a platform for those stories to be out there, so that they don't get lost, and if somebody leaves drifting, all of their experiences and stories just kind of go away with them. So this is a great way for it to stick around. Great opportunity for me to talk to some awesome people, and I'm struggling to find time to be able to do it consistently. So usually it's maybe once a month or once every 2 months, depending on whether I can lock down a time with somebody between my work schedule and other people's work schedules. So and then also my co-host's work schedule. He works a ton, and he just bought a house, so it's been kind of hectic. But definitely check that out. My YouTube channel has a ton of my driving. I like to keep my videos very simple, very raw. So when you watch them, it's a full, almost like a drifting ASMR. So you hear the engine, you hear the car, you hear the tires, you can see my inputs. It's a very stripped down, basic video, and those are the videos that I like watching. So those are the videos that I post. But I try to post as many videos from all of my events, and then my Facebook and Instagram, I'm on there all the time.
Yeah.
So feel free to anybody, if you want to reach out to me. I do make posts when I'm going to events, so if you follow them, I'll post on there, where I'm going to be, where the car's going to be, and feel free to come out and say hi. And I have stickers and stuff, and I have a bunch of other stuff that I'm gonna put into work so that I can hand out to people, and just kind of get out there and try to work for my own passion and enjoying what I'm doing. And I love being behind the wheel and driving, so if I can share that with somebody else and give them some enjoyment, and then also that's why me and you, Doug, it makes sense to work together, because we have kind of the same mindset of helping the veterans, and they've served their country in whether they're still in or whether they got out. it's sometimes tough for them, and I haven't had like a crazy career. I have I've gone downrange a few times, but it was flying on the cargo jets, so I never stayed a lot of time out there. But even just the short times I was out there, I saw the what they all went through, and I want to try to give back in any way that I can, and any opportunity that I can to do something. My grandfather again was a huge influence, and my hero, and he was one that was always volunteering and always helping out others, and supporting veterans and everything. So I want to carry that legacy on, and really do what I can, and then hopefully, once I'm finished with my time in the military, I can then spend more time giving back and volunteering once I have that extra free time.
Oh, absolutely, and that's amazing. Again, it's the same thing. It's how I feel. It's like I want to be able to give back to the veteran community, let alone myself being a veteran. I see that again, us veterans sticking together. That we decide to still help one another and be able to function together, because again, the best people to take care of veterans are veterans, because again, we know a lot of what we have gone through, one another have gone through, and may not be to a T have known what they've gone through, but at least we know what we all need, and that's going to be someone that is a fellow veteran that can both listen and talk to, as well as to be able to be around. It's amazing, and I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsors, because again, without my sponsors for the podcast and everything, it wouldn't be able to do a lot of this stuff. And that's New England Blue Collar Printing, which they're actually out of Massachusetts. They're actually in Freetown, Massachusetts. They are an outstanding company. They are helping out with the track day for veterans this year, and donating a lot of their stuff and time. And then also I want to give another shout out to another sponsor, which is the Guardians of the Purple Heart. They are a motorcycle club that is located in Connecticut. They are in the southeast side, as well as the Guardians of the Purple Heart motorcycle club in Rhode Island. Both of them are outstanding members of society, let alone their veterans. Again, they are there helping out veterans like ourselves. And then also we've got Reed's Archery in Middleborough. So if you need any of your archery stuff, from anything from getting your bows new lines put on, or some new arrow tips, or even arrows, they are the ones to reach out to. Chris down there is absolutely amazing. They've got a program for veterans as well as first responders. Every year they donate so many brand new bows out to veterans and first responders, and so again, they've been a great sponsor for us, as well as Big Belly's Cafe, located in here in Webster, Massachusetts. We got Jimmy's Pizza, Ralphie, absolutely amazing guy. Take care of you all the time. And then Wolf Aviation, they're actually right out your neck of the woods. They're in Westfield. They're an aviation where if you want to get your private pilot's license, hands down, they are the guys to see. because they are a reasonable price. They are willing to help veterans and everybody get into their private pilot's license for under $8,000. Most places are going to be anywhere between $14,000 to $16,000, if not even north of that. So again, without these sponsors, I've got to say it wouldn't be able to happen with a lot of this. And a good friend of mine, Travis with Oscar Mike Radio, has guided me all the way through with this, as well as Keith Hayes with Sinista1 Productions. Without these guys, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. So I got to give my hats off to them as it. So continuing on with the podcast, how do you manage your time with your family, as well as your drifting, as well as your Air Force career? How do you manage that? What's the secret with that?
So because I've been in it a while, I've had many arguments, and one thing is give way, and others give way. So I've gradually got kind of a system down, and
yep.
I try to, if I'm gonna do an event, it's usually from April until about October, November, so probably 6 months out of the year. I kind of break it down to, all right, I'm gonna do, they usually release a lot of the events at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So as soon as they release the events, I throw them all in my calendar, and then I already have all of my, drill weekends and everything else in my calendar. So then I just kind of stack them up and just see, okay, I can go to this event, I can go to this event, I can go to this event. And then I look at all of my personal schedule stuff, family stuff, and, just kind of see it on paper, what I can do, and then I just plan on those particular events that I can make it to. And then, talking over with my wife, she's very understanding, and she knows that this is my passion. So between the military and the drifting, those are my two, passions to myself. So we'll kind of work around those, and then I kind of set my budget. Like, okay, I know the entrance fees, they are usually pretty consistent. So I know, all right, I have this entrance fee. I know if it's a 1-day event or a 2-day event. I am very particular and very analytical again. So I know I have it down to a science of how many tires I usually use. So I'll usually, I know I'm going to use, if it's a 1-day, I'm going to probably use 4 tires. So I'll bring 6. And I've been buying a bunch of basically stock Corvette wheels. And so all my wheels, I have probably 8 of them that are already, powder coated, all matched. So when I show up to an event, I have them already mounted. And so I know, all right, 1 day I'll probably go through 1 pair, maybe 2 pairs. So I'll bring 6 tires. And then just so I have the little bit extra, if it's a 2-day event, I'll make sure I bring 8. Just to make sure that I have enough tires for the day. And then just the finances, I know I use it as, just set it aside like a monthly payment. And I know, all right, between entrance fee, gas, I know how far it is, kind of incidentals, food, whatever. I budget it all out, and I know that I'm going to have to set aside this amount of money. So if I do one event in 1 month, I know I set aside that one payment to be able to do it. And it's like, okay, this is how much I can spend on this event.
Yeah.
Because I started, long time ago, I would just, I'm going to the event, and I would just buy a bunch of tires and this and that, and I didn't pay attention. And then I'd be broke for 2 weeks until I got paid again.
Yeah.
And that's not a way to sustain it. That's not financially responsible. It's not good. We had just having many arguments about that type of stuff. So I've got it down to a science. I understand what I need, and I keep it to a budget. And that's why my car, a lot of the other Corvettes, a lot of the other cars, they have a lot of money into their cars. And my motor is bone stock. I keep everything as close to stock as possible, besides my suspension, steering, and the cooling. I'll upgrade all that stuff, but drivetrain, engine, transmission, differential, I try to keep it all stock, because the engineers at GM, when they built this thing, they built it to be beat on at the racetrack. So once you start messing with that, you start breaking more stuff. So I don't use very sticky tires. A lot of the other people will use softer, stickier tires, so you get more grip, so you can go faster. Well, for me, I'm doing it for fun. I don't need to go faster. I'm fine with going the relative speed. It's still enjoyable, but the tires last a lot longer, and I don't put as much strain on my drivetrain. So basically just getting the finances under control and understanding that, and then not trying to overdo it with events.
Yeah.
And then my military, luckily, we have a very consistent schedule. Even though I'm, active guard during the week, we still have our, drill weekends once a month.
Yeah.
So I find out what weekend that is, and obviously that's a blocked off weekend. I have to concentrate on that. But luckily we work 4-day work weeks right now. We work 4 10-hour days, so that gives me 3 days off every week, and it just allows me the opportunity to be able to have that extra day to make sure the car is all good, have it all loaded up in the trailer, ready to go. So then that morning when I'm getting ready to go to the track, I can just jump in the truck and go. Then family life, it's all right. One weekend is drill, one weekend is a drift event. Those 2 other weekends are essentially for family time, family events, stuff like that. So I try to keep to that schedule, and it's 6 months out of the year that I kind of do that, and then all through like the winter is really where I get to spend a lot more time with family and doing our doing vacations and stuff like that. So I try to cash in all the spouse days during the fall, winter, and spring when I'm not racing. Spend all the time, do our vacations then. So then once it comes around back to the summer, it's kind of a mutual understanding that this is my passion, so I'm going to do it. Be doing it for the next 6 months. So it's and then the military side, I actually got an opportunity this past year to actually kind of bring them both together at the air show, and that's where this picture is taken. I was actually out on the runway next to the Air Guard recruiting tent, and I was helping out the Air Force recruiting. Kind of having my car on display, my little mini Jeep on display. And of course, when everything was getting broken down, I had to take the opportunity to, park my car right in front of one of the jets that I work on and snap a picture. I'm very thankful that my commander, was very understanding and was like, oh yeah, this would be an awesome idea to be able to have you bring your car in and, set it up out on the runway next, help out the recruiters and all that. So I'm hoping to be able to help out the Air Guard recruiting more. I've already been talking with them because I helped them a ton set up their tents and just volunteer my time. They didn't ask me to do it. I just wanted to help them out, and also offered my services as well. Like if they go to a school or a job fair or something, I don't mind going there and talking about my experience, because I've been in every aspect of the Air Force at this point. So I have a lot of experience and knowledge about all the different branches. So it's any way that I can help with that as well, help my base's recruiting office and hopefully get more opportunities.
Now I got a question. Are you with the 104th Fighter Wing?
Yes.
That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, because that's when I was out there. I got the media press pass through the 104th Fighter Wing, but it was Public Affairs, which I believe the guy that I worked with, who I ended up donating I donated a shirt, a hat, and all that to him. I believe his name was Randy, I think it was. Trying to remember who it was, but there was a few people I talked to out there. But yeah, I was like, just thinking, I'm like, because after as you're sitting here talking and stuff, I'm like, yeah, this kind of I was like, I got to figure out who I was working with, because it was the 104th Fighter Wing, Barnes Air National Guard, but it's the Public Affairs office who I worked with, which the guy, it was Randy, I think it was, but I don't remember what his whole title is. So. Yeah.
They're the whole public affairs office is like, they are the main funnel between the military and the public. So that's where for the entire all the news and all that stuff, they handle all that stuff. So it's since I've been at Barnes, it's definitely a totally different kind of culture. A lot of people, when I was leaving my last base, they were saying, "Oh, you're gonna love the Guard. The Guard is amazing." Like, nobody had anything negative to say about the Guard. And now that I'm here and I'm in it, I can definitely see why it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's just it's that more tight-knit family, community and co-workers that you don't necessarily get elsewhere, because people are constantly moving in.
Yeah.
A lot of these people, in the Guard, they let you go until you're in your 60s.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon to see people do 38 years in the military.
Yeah.
It's that was just wild. Going to some of these retirement ceremonies, seeing people that have been in for 39 years. I'll probably be close to 30 by the time I plan on leaving. I have probably 9 years left before I hit like the active duty retirement time.
Yeah.
Just because I did reserves for 12 years, it kind of that time doesn't count towards the full active duty time. So.
Yeah, it's like half the time. So if you do 6 years, you only got like 3 years of active duty time.
It's even less than that.
Really?
Actually, so reserve time, when you come in, you only get your 1 weekend a month, which counts as 4 points essentially.
Oh, that's right. They go by points.
Yeah, so 4 points on one month, and then you have your 2 weeks, which is 14 or 15 points. So you really only get like a small number of points, but the benefit of it is you're also working as a civilian. So you're gaining the years on the federal side as well as a civilian. So then when you do go to retire from the military, you have a military retirement plus a federal retirement.
Yeah.
And that was the initial goal for me. But once I saw, there was an opportunity to go back onto active duty and, get more of that time, that was kind of the turning point where, I have this opportunity, let me pursue this opportunity and be able to retire maybe a few years sooner and have an active duty retirement. And that just helps me and my wife out, at that point, because we're still going to be young.
Yeah.
And be able to, my goal is to spend more time on the volunteer side, because I don't necessarily have to worry about my bills being paid, because, I have my mortgage and stuff paid.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my goal. I didn't want to do a 9-to-5 job, when I retire. I want to do something that is a little bit more than that, and it's,
yeah.
anything where I can be around my car and talking about cars and stuff like that, and talk with other veterans that might be into cars.
Yeah. No, I'm the same.
Retirement.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in the same. I mean, again, I'm doing my civilian job, but I'm not going to be doing that until like I'm in my 60s and 70s. I'm going to be done in about between 10-15 years, maybe a little bit more, but not anything longer than that. Because again, I want to be able to enjoy retirement. I want to be able to enjoy life and not just, retire at age 70 and then croak, well, that's really the way to say it, but...
Well, like, you're not going to be able to physically enjoy a lot of the things that you would want, and that's kind of, I saw one of the factors was, one side of my family is all military, so seeing a lot of them retiring from the military, and they're retiring in their 50s, and they worked so dang hard in the military and beat themselves up so hard in the military that once they did get the opportunity to retire and then relax, it's now they're dealing with the fallout from their careers. And I know it's tough for a lot of people, because you're in the job, and a lot of people don't have that ability in their careers to say, oh no, I'm going to take it easy, or change jobs to not beat yourself up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's where, if once they get out, if we can give them these opportunities to still be able to enjoy life, even though some people have lasting effects of the military that last the rest of their lives. It's again, just helping them to maybe not think about that and escape that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. A lot of us veterans, again, we want to be able to enjoy life and be able to enjoy the certain things of when you do retire, so that you're not just not able to enjoy a lot of the stuff of like going to theme parks with your kids later on, or with their kids, so your grandkids, or whatnot, or traveling and seeing the world a little bit more than what you had to do it a different way with the military. So there's a lot of different things, and I think a lot of us want to be able to just enjoy life and not just break our backs, break our balls, and just not have anything to really look back and say, well, I enjoyed this, I enjoyed that. We want to be able to look later on and be able to say, yeah, you know what, I got to enjoy that. I didn't have to rush. I didn't have to only go spend a couple days down in Florida, or hey, I'm 55, 60 years old, and now I'm going scuba diving, and I got to actually enjoy it and live that. Instead of later on in life saying, you know what, I kind of wanted to scuba dive, but now I'm 75, I'm just retiring. It's like, you're not going to be able to enjoy it. You're not going to probably be able to want to go do it at that time. So, but with the show coming to an end here soon, I know we've got a lot of stuff that we've talked about. I know we're going to be staying in contact and doing some things with one another on this whole drifting and getting the veterans introduced more to it and bringing it to life more with me. I mean, I guess is what it's going to be coming to is like us working together to get the word out there to the veterans, because again, veterans, we need to count on one another to help one another, to help each other promote a lot of stuff, as well as we need to count on one another when it comes to helping one another, and as well as helping veterans get through rough times and rough patches with a lot of stuff. And I think this is going to be a good adventure for both of us, with helping one another out and be able to help out other veterans in the long term. And so I'm going to have Beavis and Butthead take us away from here and let me know what they thought of this show, and let everybody else hear what they had to say, how the show went today. Until later, next time, we will see you then, and we will catch you next week.
Shut up!
Yeah. Shut up!
You suck!
Stop! In the name of all that which does not suck.
Thanks for watching Fubar Studios Veteran Reinforcement. Please make sure to check out the Fubar Studios on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and visit the website at fubarstudio.com. Fubar Studios is a Sinista1 Productions.